So I was having a conversation with somebody recently about uh, the things that we hold on to for our sanity. Um, he made a movie reference to make an example out of this point, which I can't get into because copyright issues that I'm not aware of. But I tend to agree. I mean, I think that that's an important topic to consider, to discuss, to just really think about it. I mean, sanity. I don't know to what extent I really think that sanity is the proper word to use. Um, I'm not 100% clear on its definition. I'm more, uh, it's just one of those words that I guess I know more how to use it than I know actually what it means. So I may be misusing it to some extent, but I think that, I mean, on one hand, I'm including your happiness. Like I'm including the thing that makes you emotionally satisfied and brings you joy. And on the other hand, it's something that makes you able to function properly in society, to function in a civil manner, to function in a healthy way. Maybe those two things are related. Like maybe you function properly, excuse me, maybe you function properly because you have something to be happy about, or maybe those are just two separate things. I'm not too sure. Uh, but the idea is I just think about stripping those things away. Take everything from you. Like take everything from yourself. I mean, earlier today, uh, I went to sleep for a couple of hours, and when I woke up, I was alone. It's dark, and it was just me. And just it kind of didn't feel too good. I kind of felt like I mean, there was certainly nothing entertaining about it. There was nothing fun, and so the depressing thoughts began to make themselves come into the picture. The thoughts that are not so pleasant to consider, the thoughts that make life less fun. But I think I don't know. I mean, so if I look at myself, like who am I? Like who am I without my dreads? Who am I without some sort of fashion that I'm into? Like I really like this beanies. Like who am I without this? Um, some of the clothing that I wear. Who am I without that? Um, how satisfied am I with myself, minus my possessions, minus my clothes, minus anything that I use for entertainment? How secure am I? What makes me happy? And if those things are taken away, how will I conduct myself? What kind of person will I be? And how does that apply to anybody in this world? I mean, is your happiness based on your BMW? Is your happiness based on your physical appearance? Is your happiness based in your friendships, which may change over time? How will you function when those things are taken away? Um, how deeply should you consider that question? I mean, what difference does it make? You may never lose those things. Um, but I mean, your health goes down the drain one day. I mean, some of us live to be 80, 90 years old and, rarely have a problem. I've spoken with older, with senior citizens who have said that, You know, they've been to the hospital one time. If I remember correctly, I think there was a man who was like 80 something, and he said he never went to the hospital. Now I'm sure that that's a rare thing, but I mean, if let's just say he's telling the truth, we're not all that fortunate. And I think that as we get older, and you lose your youth or the style of the day changes, and then dreadlocks are no longer cool if that's like the culture that you live in, or that's like in your area. Because worldwide, I mean, dreads I'm sure have always been cool for some people, and they'll probably never not be. I mean, I can't speak on that. That's a big subject to talk, and I don't have the authority to say. I'm just trying to give examples sake. But you get older, your skin isn't as healthy as it used to look. It's not as tight. It's not as clear. There's blemishes. Maybe you go bald. Um, maybe you're not as financially stable and successful at 40. Maybe in your 30s, maybe your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, you were a pro athlete. Maybe you were just the money was rolling in. Now you're 50, 60, 70, and you're living off of Social Security. You're living week to week or month to month, and you're really penny pinching. Um, you have to re-examine who you are and what you take pleasure out of in life at that point. I mean, I don't know how many examples that I could give to be efficient as far as making this point. I feel that the examples that I gave were somewhat uh, not good enough, but if you're with me, I appreciate you following me this far. But I mean, I think to survive that time of your life, I think it's a good idea to contemplate what your things mean to you and how you'll function without them. Material, friendships, finances. I mean, on one hand, I feel like what I'm saying is something of value. On the other hand, I feel like what I'm saying makes me sound, if I'm using the term correctly, pompous. I feel like uh, I'm trying to sound smarter than I really am. But I mean, something to consider is the stages of life and how they come. The things that we base our happiness in, the things we base our sanity in. Just like the video before, friendships. What is your friendship really based on? Because if you find that you're to be separated from that relationship, things are going to change. And will you be able to cope? I don't know. But I do know one thing. I have made yet another video that I am not sure made sense.